Not fun, but it is reality. The Celtics are NBA champions. They wiped the floor, Hugh, with the Dallas Mavericks.
Boy, they look like bad. They just prolonged the series. They should have just lost the other night.
Yeah, they probably should have. I mean? They took it to last night, and it didn't matter. The series was over. It was over from the beginning. The Celtics are NBA champions after a great regular season. They roll through the postseason. And I'm watching last night, and I'm watching the Celtics do what they've kind of been on the path to doing for a while, which is win an NBA championship with Jaylen Brown and with obviously Tatum. Those two have been together for a long time now, and they've made. So what is it now? I think those two together have made 6 conference finals. They have been to 2 finals and now won an NBA championship here.
Finally broke through.
They finally broke through and they got it. And you know what hit me last night? And I hope everyone's ready for an adult conversation because I'm ready to have it. We got to grow up.
Adult conversation?
We got to grow up.
Where you work at?
Well, WIP. But I think at some once in a while we got to grow up and realize things. And,
like what?
Well, today's the day to realize this Sixers thing's a waste of time.
What do you mean?
Well, I feel worse last night because the Celtics broke through, and they're not going to stop anytime soon. They've been the best team in the Eastern Conference for years, and now they've won the ring. And when players like Tatum and Brown win together in their mid-20s, they don't stop winning.
So you think they Golden State?
Yeah, they could be the next version of that. Maybe not quite as dominant as Golden State, but here's the way I view it. I feel worse last night about the Sixers' future because the Celtics already were light years ahead, and now they're champions. They know they can win, something the Sixers obviously don't think they could do and don't deep down know they can do. Yeah, I feel worse, and I'm at the point now because I know what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. Here come all the rumors. Let's get excited for Paul George, everyone.
I mean, yeah.
Bring on down 35-year-old Paul George.
That's what we got. That's all we got.
Well, that doesn't have to be all they have. They don't have to go down this path. I'm going to say it.
What path would you like to go down?
Well, I'm going to go down the path that is going to be a better way of winning down the line. I think the Sixers have a better chance to win an NBA title sooner than later by trading Embiid and rebuilding than they do to try to go beat the Celtics.
I mean, come on.
I don't subscribe to that, Joe. We're so far in this process thing. I get what you're saying because you're talking about an Embiid window. It's probably, 2 to 3 years at the most with the knee injuries and everything, and the fact that he's getting older.
I don't even think when has Embiid shown he's ever a championship player anyway?
Yeah. I mean, I hear you, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready to throw the towel. Anything can happen. You can see the fact that this probably was a cakewalk for the Boston Celtics as far as the finals was concerned. As a matter of fact, when me and Kyle, we were talking about it this morning, the most exciting part of this whole run as far as the East was concerned was the Knicks Sixers series.
It was. So, yeah, it was, I would say, an easier route to the finals than maybe we're used to. But also, that's because the Celtics are really good. They, more experts at ESPN picked the Mavericks to win than the Celtics. They take teams that people think are good and they just dominate them.
And then there was this whole, there's a lot of injuries. There was a lot of teams in the East that was decimated with injuries, man. It really, really was.
Yeah, but that's Embiid.
Yeah,
it's not going to change.
I mean, listen, I'm not sitting here saying it like, Embiid's going to be healthy, but I think that you rather have that chance than to throw the towel in right now. Why you have a player of his caliber.
Here's why I don't. Because if they don't do it now, by the time they make the decision, they won't get anything back for Embiid.
No, I mean, I get it. It's a tough one, but I'm willing to go down the route that Embiid's not going to play for anybody but me at this point.
Why?
Because he gives me the better chance of winning. And now listen, I understand that in this finals, in the playoff series, he hasn't been the most reliable individual.
No.
As far as his health is concerned. But hell, I would rather take a chance on that one more time or 2 more times, or hell, Joe, 3 more times. And hopefully in those last 3 times that I have him healthy enough that I could probably push through and get one than not.
I think there's very little chance. I think we're fooling ourselves. We're fooling ourselves. We fooled ourselves with Embiid for years. He's a great player, but he's not a championship player. And now we're fooling ourselves in the East. They're not even in the same world as the Celtics. Not even the same world. The Celtics' best players play 70-plus games every year. It's why they're going to keep winning 55 or 60 games. They're going to have
about to retire, too, though.
Yeah, Horford's a bit player. It's Tatum and Brown. Yes, Horford's obviously important to them, and they have to replace him. Hugh, you're right. But their 2 best players are 25 and 26.
Yeah, there's some young cats.
They play all the time. They win all the time. They have continuity. By the way, if we go sign Paul George, we're going to do it 6 months of, they got to learn how to play together. We're just spinning on the hamster wheel here. The Sixers blew this years ago with all the players they didn't pick. Obviously, Brown and Tatum ended up Celtics in part because of what the Sixers, especially Brown, and they took Ben Simmons over. But they've got it now. They are the next team in the NBA, especially in the Eastern Conference. They've been to 6 conference finals. The Sixers have been to 0. I look at it as the Sixers are going to keep trying. I don't think I'm going to get my way here. They're going to keep trying. They're going to sign Paul George in 2 weeks, and we're going to fool ourselves to say they're going to go beat the Celtics next year. Not a chance. There's not a chance they're going to beat the Celtics with Paul George. Paul George, who gets hurt all the time, too, and is old. Embiid, who gets hurt all the time and is in his 30s. This is, like, last night it hit me. This is the Celtics league now. And the Sixers could continue to keep trying, or they could try to pivot. And I'll say it this way, too. In the Western Conference about 5 years ago, teams had to make this decision. Do we try to beat the Warriors, or do we pivot and we wait? And the Rockets, with Daryl Morey, tried to beat the Warriors. They never did it. Teams like the Thunder said, we're going to kind of rebuild this thing, and we're going to wait them out. And now they're better than them.
Stall them out, Debo. I hear what you're saying, Joe, and it makes a lot of sense, but I'm not willing to go there yet. I'd rather take a chance. Like, there's going to be one season out of this whole thing that Joel Embiid is going to be healthy.
Why? No, there's not.
Yeah, I feel like that's the case.
But you're just saying
I'm hoping for the sake of hope.
But you don't build a team on hope. You build a team on reality.
Joe, like, when you look at the next couple of drafts, like look at this draft that we just had, or excuse me, the draft that we're about to have. Ain't that what we're going to do? There's not that much talent out there.
But you know what? There is. You have to find it. There's going to be a player or two in this draft that could play.
Yeah.
You have to find it.
And how do you feel about this organization finding that guy? Well, seriously.
That's their job.
And they haven't done their job lately. Like when you talk about that Boston team, you look at some of the guys that help them have their success. You know what? It's that some of those guys were touched by Sixers, or some of those guys used to be Sixers.
The whole starting 5.
And it's one of those things, Joe, where the unfortunate thing about basketball to me is that you're hamstringed by the salary cap, the restraints, and the development of certain players, certain individuals. The development is really hurting the game. But you just that makes it even harder to figure out, guys. When I look at both of those teams, the ones that was in the Dallas Mavericks and the Celtics, the two guys, Jalen Brunson, those are the two mainstays. But there was a lot of moving parts and a lot of different guys, like role players, that they had to put together in order to get that. You got to have a competent organization that's going to be able to do all of that, Joe. And it doesn't feel like, I would rather go into this with this than do the hard reset, because it looks like Maxi's going to be a player.
Sure, I'm keeping Maxi, by the way. Yeah. It's Embiid, because Embiid is the one you could reset.
And I feel like we'll have a better chance of winning if we take some of the pressure off of Joel Embiid. Like, because I think a lot of the time.
But that's not how you win titles, Hugh.
Yeah, I hear you.
Jalen Brown and Tatum drove the bus.
I understand that, and it doesn't feel like Joel Embiid is a good bus driver.
Luka drove the bus. The best player's got to drive the bus.
But Joel Embiid gives us a better chance than winning than he doesn't.
I disagree.
With him being here than he doesn't.
I think the Sixers' chances of winning a title with Embiid are almost none. I mean, I really believe that. So, like, I'd rather start over and move the Thunder and teams like the Timberwolves. Years ago, like, the Warriors were the best team, and the Rockets with Morey were the only team that really tried for a couple years. Everyone said, we got to reset till the Warriors are done. And some of those teams now are really great, and they could win titles soon. Like, we could be stubborn, and then we're going to just run into a brick wall.
I think I'm being a little stubborn because, listen, the one thing that I would say this, and maybe this is me being a little bit selfish, but damn it, Joel Embiid is not going to go somewhere else and win the title by being like a role player or like an Al Horford or somebody. He's not about to do that. You about to be here with us. Whatever this thing works out to be, if you want to win a title, damn it, you're going to do it here.
That's fine, but then I win a title with them. I don't believe so.
You better do it here.
215-592-9494. We'll continue the Phillies conversation. Schwarber, big night. Rojas, do you think he will ever return and be a regular here? I don't. I think the experiment is over, and a good job by the Phillies to pull the plug yesterday. But it hit me last night. Like, the Celtics are now here to a different level. 6 conference finals, 2 finals appearances, a championship. Their best players are in their 20s, mid-20s. This is their league now. It's their Eastern Conference now. It is their league.
I refuse to concede to the Celtics.
Why?
Because, I mean, listen, look how long it took them to break through.
But they've been in 6 conference finals.
Yeah, but they only got 1 title.
But Hugh, we've been to 0.
How many conference titles, or conference finals, I should say, did the Golden State Warriors go to before they broke through? Because I think that's the comparison that you're trying to make. right now.
But they had Steph Curry in his 20s.
Yeah, but it took them. But when they broke through, it didn't take them as long as it took for the Celtics to break through.
But when they broke through, they didn't stop for 6 years. That's the Celtics now.
No, I hear what you're saying, Joe. I hear what you're saying, but I don't feel like that's the case. They had an easy run. When I think about some of those Golden State, it was an easy run.
You know why it's an easy run? Because the best player in the Eastern Conference can't play. He can't get up and down the court in the playoffs. It's an easy run next year too when it's the Sixers and Paul George was 35. It's also more people pick the Mavericks at ESPN than the Celtics. You know why we think it's easy? They take other good teams and they dominate them. They just took Luka and embarrassed him.
I refuse to sit here and concede just because they won one title that the Boston Celtics are the end all to be all right now in the East. I'm not doing that.
They're going to win another one.